Hey everyone, Mikey Sola here. Developing a community of learners. Number one for the INTASC standards is learner development. First and foremost, the teacher had a great class. Seems like a great group of kids. I'm definitely a little bit envious, but number one, learner development, understanding how students grow and develop. He seemed to have a good understanding of that, good command of the class. Everything seemed to go well as far as that capacity goes. Number two, learning differences, an inclusive learning environment. Now, he seemed to pair certain students with other certain students, and it wasn't just a matter of going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, which is what I sometimes do in PE, but he seemed to put everybody, again, he had a very small group of kids. That's also important to note too. He did not have a very big class, but he seemed to pair certain kids strategically with other certain kids. At least that's the way I took it. So I like to do that myself. It's a good reminder that I need to continue doing more of that, pairing kids strategically with other kids who they work well with. Number three is learning environments. I think that's the big one that I really took away. That's the one I enjoyed most. He created an environment that supports collaboration and engagement and self-motivation. Now, he started off with a big group lecture, the whole class together. Again, it's a very small class, but I think they had maybe 12 kids. But he started off in a big group lecture, and then he broke everybody up into smaller groups, into groups of threes. He visited those groups of threes, talked to each individual kid, and then he brought everybody back to the big group setting. So that was the big one that I really took away from this. I liked the big group lecture at the beginning, break everybody up into smaller groups, go visit those smaller groups, and then bring everybody back together for kind of one final wrap up. I really like that. I think that's what I'll take away most from this. As far as creating a positive classroom climate, teacher did an excellent job. He was a very gifted public speaker. I think also I took away that he spoke in a confident yet welcoming tone, which I think is not always easy in a school setting. Kids can wear you out. Again, he had a great class. I think that's continual to be. We should continue to note that he had a great group of kids. But again, he spoke in a very confident tone, and it was welcoming yet confident at the same time. So it was a nice balance without being cocky or arrogant or seeming like he's demeaning the kids and talking down to them or yelling at them. He seemed to have found the right balance, and that kind of built the environment that was the class. As far as the norms, procedures, and expectations, if I was a teacher of this class, how would I manage them? Some of the norms, procedures, and expectations, arriving on time, that's always a huge one. You solve that by taking attendance within the first 5 to 10 minutes of class. Hopefully that's motivation enough, and to most students that will be motivation enough, but there are some students who will not come, and they probably need to either be talked to or be marked down with their grades. So that's something I do in my own class. Bringing necessary materials. Again, most of these things, most kids, from my experience teaching 11 years, will come through for you on. So bringing materials, most kids will come with materials, but there will be some that don't. Hopefully you as the teacher have the necessary materials for whatever it is, whatever subject matter you are doing. So when the student does get there and they don't have the materials, you can get them up to speed quickly by giving them kind of what they need, and hopefully by next class they'll have the correct materials. Listening attentively, that's been the most difficult part of my teaching career, 11 years now. Brutal to get kids to listen sometimes. So listening attentively, that can be achieved through a number of things. A phone call home, if a student is not listening well enough, talking to the student individually, perhaps marking them down in the grades. So kind of using a mixture of all three of these. Hopefully you don't have to use it, but we all know it's going to come from time to time, because that's, to my knowledge, one of the most difficult things in teaching, getting kids to listen attentively. Completing assignments. I don't really have tremendous amount of assignments in PE, but when we do, they need to get them in, because I emphasize that we don't have a lot of assignments, so this assignment counts more than maybe other classes. So usually that's motivation enough to get kids to turn the assignments in. And lastly, managing personal behavior. That's very difficult because kids are going through different stages. As far as a lot of the classes I have, we have freshmen paired with juniors, so they're at different stages of advancement. Some are 15, some are 17. So 2 years for an adult is not that big a deal, but 2 years for a child is a big deal. So sometimes it can be difficult to manage kids that are a couple years in age and in difference. So again, you manage that by being a strong communicator, letting the kids know that you are in charge, and just also letting them know that you're there for them. So appreciate this time. Hopefully I answered and addressed some of the things in this presentation. Take care. Thanks.